All right, the fight for the #1 spot for Alabama at the wide receiver position continues on Saturday in their spring game. Tom, who has the edge there in that fight?
Yeah, go right back to Georgia. The guy that they took from the Bulldogs, Jermaine Burton, who transferred from Georgia to Alabama, kind of like we saw last season with Jamison Williams transferring from Ohio State to Alabama. And we saw the season that Williams had, though a little bit different situation. Jamison Williams left Ohio State because there were 1,000 other receivers on the roster, and he had trouble getting on the field compared to them. Whereas at Georgia, Jermaine Burton kind of wanted to switch quarterbacks. He's going from Stetson Bennett to Bryce Young. He feels like that could be good for his pro career. And I'm inclined to agree with him, but that is a player to keep an eye on, but he's not the only one. There is the former 5-star receiver, Ja'Cory Brooks. He was a freshman last season, saw some limited time, but we did see him in the title game. He's 6'3". He's got to put on a little weight. He was a little skinny, but he's a big playmaker. Trayshawn Holden is somebody that got some snaps last year and some time, who probably more of a possession receiver. He's not really like the Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs type that we're so used to seeing with Alabama the last few years. But I think a name that's kind of being slept on is not a receiver, but it is tight end Cameron Latu, who is a tall, long, athletic tight end who could be a matchup nightmare for a lot of opposing defenses. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him take on a more significant role in the passing offense. And another name that's not a receiver, but is going to be catching plenty of passes, another transfer, Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back from Georgia Tech. He is a much better pass catcher out of the backfield than anybody Alabama had on the offense last season. And I think he's going to play a huge role in the passing game this year too.
Well, I think, the thing with Alabama is, I looked it up, they've had, since 2018, 5 first-round draft choices at receivers in the top 15. That's never been done before. So you can say, yeah, they have a lot to fill in, and Tom is right that Jermaine Burton's going to have to come in there and probably be the go-to guy. But don't forget a guy that you're not going to see anything of Saturday. Tyler Harrell, the odds-on favorite to transfer from Louisville, the speedster, maybe a go-to guy, 6', 197, who averaged 29 yards per catch at 6 touchdowns in 13 games for Louisville last year. Again, not going to play, but I think the issue is here, who's the go-to receiver after the loss of Jamison Williams? And Alabama's done that for years. Nick Saban, the guy who's complaining about, where are we going to go with NIL, has figured this out. You get a quarterback, you get a receiver, you've got a chance, and it doesn't matter how you get it. In the transfer portal, again, Tom mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he could be part of the passing game. He is the existing, right now, career leader in all-purpose yardage in the entire country. That's what Alabama got. So he's going to be running the ball. He's going to be catching the ball. He's going to be blocking. Who knows, he might return as well. But they're going to be fine depth-wise. It's just a question of, are they going to get that game changer on the outside?
Dennis, after losing the national championship game, how big is the chip on Bama's shoulder this spring?
Well, last year was supposed to be a reloading year. They won't say that, but I'll say that. They were looking towards 2022 with the recruits they had coming in. We just mentioned some of them. Bryce Young wins the Heisman in a so-called off year. They have probably the best defensive player going into 2022 and Will Anderson Jr., and they've got depth developing on that side as well. So they're going to be fine. They're going to be stronger than they were last year. Again, that doesn't mean they're going to win the national championship. Other teams will have something to say about that. We don't know who's going to carry the ball or be the guy there, although they've got options. But they're going to be very good defensively, much better than they were last year, I think. And they're already set offensively, I think. We just talked about receiver and quarterback. So this is going to be the year for Alabama. It's more likely they win this year. The upset was last year going to the championship game.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.